And one thing that you're really big on is like helping your children become, you being a destiny helper for your children, even when they're older. Like I know your children are probably my age. I'm a millennial. So what are some things that
Yes.
you, what are some things that you would say to the older parents that are watching to continue to be, I guess we can start back as like how to become a destiny helper, in when they're children, when they're adolescents, all the way through. Because it's important. It means a lot.
It's definitely important. I think sometimes where parents begin to fall off is when their kids become teenagers. I've watched parents say, well, they can choose now whether they want to go to church or not. And so we give them the choice. And so we just let them stay home. But I've watched those children become idle and get in trouble. While their parents are in church, they're doing something totally different. I'm not saying that you don't trust your kids, but I think that there are certain decisions that you don't give them that choice to make. They are still, developing, they're still learning, they're still in your home, and you're still responsible for them. And so, as a good steward, I would say, even once they get to the teenage years, still begin to pour into them, let them know why. And I know kids want to be independent, they want to be like their friends. It's common, it's normal. But if you instill Christ in them at a young age, that foundation is there. Now, once they become adults, of course, you have to back up, you have to, and I actually have a chapter that's called Letting Go. And, as even as a Christian parent, I've had to step back and take on the role of advisor or coach. I'm not the one that's driving them around, to whatever practice or, wherever they need to go. But if I'm needed, of course, I continue to pray. I cover them. I pray for their safety. I pray that the will of God is done in their life, that they're not derailed in their destiny. I still pray just like I did when they were younger, and I sit back and I wait. I'm on the sidelines and I'm watching them in their game of life. And so, when they come over and say, "Hey, mom, I need this advice. Can you help me with this?" Sure, I'm right there to help them. Because I think as parents, we must understand that even when they become adults, they're still learning. They've never walked this way before, and they still need our guidance. Albeit we still have to, sometimes as parents, we could be intrusive, we could overstep our bounds. That's something that we have to learn to do, to step back. You have to hold your tongue a lot of times. And then, the Holy Spirit will often just have you pray. He will have you intercede. He might tell you not to say anything. I think sometimes we think that, our kids are not supposed to make mistakes. They will make mistakes just like we made mistakes. We have to be there to help them when they do make mistakes, just like when they were learning to ride their bikes or whatever. If they fail, we did not, condemn them. We picked them up and brushed them off and, reassure them, you got this, you can do it. The same thing goes when they become adults. We have to be there to help them, and they don't have it all figured out. I think that's where we go wrong sometimes because we think that our kids should already have it figured out. By the time you get to 18, you should know everything that you're supposed to do. We didn't know everything. And, we should allot them that time for growth and development, even in their young adulthood. Some people are 40s and 50s and still trying to figure it out. So I
This is
think we should be there to help.
Miss Deborah, you remind me so like what you're saying reminds me of like just with my mom. I have a very close relationship with my mom. She watches every Glory Hour. Hi, mom. And I know she'll be like shaking her like, mm-hmm. Like sometimes to keep her mouth like shut or just being that advisor or that counselor. And I just want to ask from your own perspective, how hard is it to parent adult children in their 30s and 40s and like taking that step back? Because I can't imagine. I just know there's been times my mom I'll like talk on her phone, something's going on, and then I'm like, Mom, I'm just going through right now. And she's like, I didn't want to tell and having those moments. But even you have four adult sons. So
Yes.
what's that like of just having to be advisor and counselor? Just want to know like your own personal experience because I can't even imagine. I'm an only child. My mom only had one, so I'm like one daughter, but having sons. How's that for you?
Wow. Yes. So, I think as a mother, you're going to always be a mother. And so if you've developed that bond with your children, you're going to pick up when something's off. You're going to pick up when something's wrong. There are times that I might pick up the phone and call and say, "Hey, is everything okay?" And even though they may say, "Oh, yeah, I'm doing good, I'm fine," you can sense when something is off. And, my mother did the same thing with me. She could call me, we were very close. And, I'm just talking. She's like, "Okay, what's up?" She could tell the difference in my voice, even though, I'm like trying to be upbeat or whatever. And she could always sense it. And I do the same thing. I can sense it when something is wrong. And so sometimes, the Holy Spirit might have me, press a little further and ask. And then there are times when, I'll just leave it at that and I'll just go into prayer. Sometimes He may show me what it is, and I'll wait for them to come to me. And I think listening to the Holy Spirit is the biggest thing. I think we have to make sure that we are being led by the Spirit of God. We want to make sure that we're not controlling our adult children, our adult sons and daughters. I don't want to say adult children, our adult sons and daughters, because we have to allot them that time, to develop and to grow and to become an adult. Sometimes in our eyes, we still see them as our babies, and we tell them that, "Oh, you're going to always be my baby." So when you say that, what you're saying to them is, I will never allow you to grow up. I will never allow you to become an adult. That means that we're going to interfere with every adult choice that they make. And we can't do that and keep a healthy relationship. And so that's why I put it in the book. I think I have a chapter in there that deals with balance. We have to be balanced. We have to teach our children to be balanced. And when they become adults, when I say step back, we have to really step back. And that takes a lot for a lot of us, because we can watch decisions being made. And like I said, we're a coach. We're that advisor now. And we can share, suggestions, but we should not be forceful and think that they have to, take all of our suggestions and everything that we tell them to do. We have to step back and allow,
Yeah.
decisions to be made, and just pray and be there for them. It's the same with us and God. God allows us to make the decisions. He doesn't always like the decisions that we make, but He allows us to make them. And then He doesn't kick us to the curb. He doesn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. He's right there to comfort us. Sometimes He has to scold us. He's reassuring us, but there's a way that it needs to be done.